Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Planet Coaster. Today we're back with Gambit. So, I know it's been a hot minute since the last episode, but you know, Christmas happened and I was working a lot at my job. You know, there was one week I worked like 80 hours, and then the next week I worked another 80 hours. So I was really tired, and I did not want to put any effort into recording anything. So here we are, we're back. Christmas is over. Happy New Year to everybody. I don't do this New Year, new me crap. I don't do any of that. I'm the same person as I always was. The world keeps spinning no matter what I do, so it is what it is. Anyway, we're back with Planet Coaster. Today's episode is going to be relatively short and sweet. I'm going to focus mostly on getting like these vertical columns put in. So I think I might have made a couple of mistakes in some of the turns here, but as far as I'm aware, these main vertical beams between the vents here are supposed to be the same width throughout the entire layout. And I was trying to focus and stress that with the vents, the placement of the vents in the previous episode. And I think I go back off camera and I make some adjustments. I know I didn't record all of this. In a couple of later episodes, you're going to see there's several jump cuts because there's a lot of times where I just didn't record anything. But yeah, today's focus is just getting these vertical beams placed. It was really hard to do it, so you know, I start with this. To make sure they're totally vertical, I have to copy them like this. And then I'll go back through and you'll see in a little bit how I get the exact width correct. I'm pretty sure I just adjust it to where there is about the same distance on both sides of the column versus the horizontal beam. I don't know, it's weird to explain, but don't subject yourself to this, please. I'm only finishing this because I just want to finish it. I could just let this project rot and burn and forget about it, but I gotta do it. I gotta make the most realistic supporting. See, look, I made a mistake, but look at that. Anyway, on portions of the track where it's straight, I can just copy the beams, but this is a really turny, twisty coaster, so yeah, that's not really gonna happen. I'm pretty sure it was around this point I was starting to realize, okay, let me just go ahead and get all of these beams placed vertically, yada yada yada. So that's what's going on in this episode, and I think I'm going to try and show a little bit of me getting like the horizontal beams angled correctly and put at their correct height. So keep in mind there's going to be a lot of camera movements. I'm probably going to cut a lot of this out, so you're going to see some jump cuts here and there because there's really no need for me to just show all of this. Who's going to want to sit here and watch it? I checked the view time of the previous episode, and there's a lot of people that stick around for like 5 minutes and then that's it, so yeah, I wouldn't want to stick around very long either, but hey, you know, who doesn't like some good old wood, eh? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. I'm kidding, we're family friendly here. Well, not when the Penn Island group is together. We're definitely family friendly. Like, for sure, we're family friendly. Penn Island is like a family theme park and everything. I promise we're gonna try and hopefully get back together soon. I really want to get the gang back together so we can do more Penn Island stuff. And yeah, we've been gone for a long time with Penn Island. It's mostly because all of us ended up kind of having a life. My situation, so it was around spring break of last year when we kind of stopped doing anything. That's because I started working 60, 70 hours a week. So I just didn't have time for Planet Coaster anymore. And Penn Island takes a lot out of me. The creative juices have to flow, and they just weren't flowing because I was too tired from work. Speaking of work, somebody asked in the previous episode, what do I do for work? I work for the theme parks. Specifically in culinary. It's not really what I want to do, but you know, it's what I got hired into 4 years ago. It's all that was available. Because back then, I didn't have a car. I had to use the public buses in Orlando, and for any of you who live here, you know how much of a headache taking the public buses is, so I don't recommend it at all. Anywho, so with my transportation issues and my availability at the time, culinary was, you know, it had the better hours for me, and I could get to and from work without any issues. I've got a car now, but, you know, it's kind of hard to leave culinary right now, so I want to get back into ride operations like I did at Carowinds, you know, 4 or 5 years ago. That's what I eventually want to get back into doing. So, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see if I stick in culinary. It's been 4 years. We'll see if I try to transfer. I don't know. I gotta figure that out because things. Anyway, I'm not going to say what park I work for because I need to make sure it's okay with media relations. They do check everyone's social media, so I don't want to get into any kind of trouble with my job. I just got to talk with them to make sure it's okay that I talk about my job. And, you know, maybe recruit some new employees that way too. Who knows? So if you live in Orlando, hit me up. See if we can get you hired on. We're always looking for bright young faces. So, you know, if you want to work in a theme park, it can be fun. Unless you're really short-staffed, then it can be really hard. But like any job that's short-staffed right now, you can work anywhere and have a bad time. Because if you don't have enough staff, you're doing the work of like 4 or 5 people every day. So yeah, it could be rough and it could be exhausting, and that happened to me throughout the summer. That's why I didn't upload anything, because I was just so busy with work. I was way too tired. I had a lot of other things going on, and I just could not dedicate the time to Planet Coaster or any piano music or Diagon Alley. I couldn't dedicate any time to it, so I'm trying to make up for that, and hopefully this year I can make a change and make that happen. So you see right here, I'm basing the spacing of these vertical beams on about how wide the cross ties are, and that leaves about a square shape left on each side of the horizontal beam. Or basically, how can I explain it? You would take the horizontal beam, and the vertical beam is like double the width of that inward, if that makes any kind of sense. I don't know how to explain it. For those of you that actually stick around and watch this entire thing, I appreciate that. We're getting close to the end of getting all these vertical beams in place, and after this, it's going to be a mix of adjusting the horizontal ledgers and as well as adjusting the vertical beams. Alright, so here we are, final brake run. We're approaching the end of this pre-recorded segment. Remember, the next couple of episodes is all footage that I recorded like a year ago. So we're approaching the end of this kind of pre-recorded smegment or whatever. Ooh, not smegment, that sounds disgusting. That's just nasty. Yeah, anyway. So the next video segment is going to be where we're not going to be able to do all of it in that one video, because I think this next clip I'm going to show you is like a 25-minute clip, so there's going to be a lot of cutting out. But anyway, the next half of this video I'm going to be starting to adjust all of these horizontal ledgers and the vertical column supports. So alright, so there was a bit of a jump cut. Yeah, so it shows that I recorded for like almost 5 hours. This one clip right here, which is like I think 25 minutes long. We're not going to watch all of it, but I recorded for like almost 5 hours in total of footage. Not in one sitting, I don't think, but you get the idea. Anyway, so first thing I do is the horizontal beam there, I lower it to where it's at the base of the bottom port of the cross tie. And then, and then I copy it up again, angle it with the banking of the track, lower it, and then I double the thickness again. and that's how you do a bend. And then I adjust the vertical beams to match, and I'm gonna sit here and do this for the entire rest of the layout. And it's boring and time consuming, but at the same time relaxing. You know, it's kind of odd, but hey-o, you know, that's what we're here for. We're custom supporting a GCI, and it's gonna be a heck of a lot of work, so. So with the track banking the way it is, let's say I'm using the direction of travel, which is opposite to the camera. The top of the cross die is angled up, right? So I adjust the horizontal beam to basically be like under that, for example. No, wait, scratch that. The vertical, so on the right side of the screen, that vertical beam, I move it to the outwardmost edge of that cross tie, right? So the cross ties are angled and I can't get rid of the cross ties. And then I adjust the left and right position of the horizontal beam, and then I adjust the other vertical column, and then I move that beam down, then I copy it up again, angle it, copy it again. Yeah, it's a long process, but it ensures that there's basically the same amount of spacing between footers throughout the entire layout. It's a long, arduous process, but the end result is really nice. So I haven't seen the end result yet. I have a long way to go still. I have to do all the angled beams, cross beams, catwalks, railings. I'm pretty sure I'm going to cover up the track as well with like darker colored rails for what the wheels run on to make it even more realistic. And I might even, this might sound crazy, but I might even add layered wood right there for the track, because if you look in the game, it just looks like it's one solid chunk of wood, and that's not what it really looks like. And I may go in and just add layered wood to make it that much more realistic. I don't know yet, but I gotta test it and see if I want to do it. For my intro to the video, that little wooden coaster, that's all custom. It's all custom. Every bit of it's custom. You can't see any original part of the track other than the cross ties. And I might try and achieve that here. And I even tried adding my own little custom bolts on the rails there, but I couldn't find anything in the game small enough that I could use. Even some workshop items, I couldn't really find anything small enough that I could use. I might search the workshop again to see if I can find anything. And if I can find anything, you better bet I'm going to add my own nuts and bolts to this darn thing. So I told Silverette I'm going to try and be as realistic as I can. And I told him, I said, well, as long as your computer can handle it, then okay. Right here where I'm working, the original file that I have, Free the Bear, had did some support work right here in this turn, and I ended up getting rid of it because it wasn't what I was going to do, because it wouldn't have matched the rest of what I was going to do, so I just ended up getting rid of it. Over the past couple of days, I've actually been having some issues with my RAM in my computer. So my computer is using... I kind of regret buying it. I wish I'd have went with like Corsair or something, but I ended up getting the G.Skill Trident Z Neo RAM. It's a set of 3600 megahertz. I started with 32 gigabytes back when I built the computer, but after doing the rendering for my new outro to the videos, I realized I needed more RAM to cope with that. Even with pre-rendering the video, I still needed more RAM because Premiere was using 28 of my 32 gigabytes. So I upgraded to 64 gigabytes, 4 sticks. I could put 128 in here, but I would need to get 4 brand new sticks of RAM, and it's just not worth the money right now. I don't need 128 gigabytes of RAM. 64 gigabytes should be more than enough, but anyway, I was having issues, and I still don't know if I've actually fixed it or not, but problems with the RAM itself causing my computer to either power cycle or the computer would turn on fine, run for a bit, and then it would just turn off and reboot. And the QLED screen on my motherboard shows like error code. It's like either AA or no, not AA. That means AOK or something. It's an Asus motherboard, and it was giving me an error code for like a RAM module issue. They're all plugged in correctly. I've made sure they're in okay. I think it had something to do with the fact that I was trying to run it at DOCP so I could get the full speed that I paid for. And I think the voltages in my BIOS are not quite right, and that's why the computer would power cycle. And then when I would try to reboot the computer, sometimes it would turn on, turn off, turn on, turn off, and keep rebooting until Windows fixes it. And then I think at one point it rebooted and it defaulted the speed of the RAM to like 1800 and something, or maybe it was 266.6 speed. And then I went in, I messed with the voltage again. I think I underclocked the voltage a little bit in the BIOS, and then I re-enabled DOCP, and so far so good. It seems to be fine. I may reach out to some people in the tech world. If any of you are watching and you kinda can help me out, please feel free to help me out. I could probably post a screenshot or something of what my BIOS looks like under the AI tweaker. On my BIOS, it's specifically AI tweaker. It's probably just a matter of needing to update the BIOS. So I might try that. I don't know if I've got a BIOS flashback though. So, but then again, I don't want a flashback because it was an outdated BIOS when I first got the motherboard, and then I updated it to the most current one. I have a general understanding of PCs, enough to kind of fix things myself. When it comes to overclocking and whatnot, a lot of that stuff I don't know, especially with Ryzen, because I'm using a Ryzen CPU. So you got to be careful with some of your voltages. Intel, not quite as much, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm hoping the problem is sorted out. So far, so good. I've noticed that like the RGB on the RAM is not in sync with each other, but I also haven't opened up any programs to actually fix that because I really don't care. It looks pretty. It's rainbow, you know. It works, you know, it's okay. Anyway, that's a rant about my computer. I was actually thinking about trying to join one of those online queues to get like a 30 series card, but if Nvidia is just going to release a 4000 series card at the end of the year, I'll just wait, join a queue for one of those, get a 4000 series card like 9 months later probably. I'm sure I could join a queue right now and get a 30 series card by like August or September, but by that same time, if Nvidia is releasing 4000 series this year, and I'm pretty sure they are, because it's about that time for a new family of cards to come out. It's been about 2 years since the 3000 series was released. Wow, it's really been that long. Okay, we've had these computer shortage things, English, for almost 2 years. It's hard to believe. Okay. Anyway, if you're still waiting for a graphics card, I am so sorry. I honestly should have kept my I think I had a 1650 Ti. Was it a 1650 Ti? In my old computer. I should have just kept it. I could have either gave it to somebody or sold it to somebody for $100 because it's not really worth much more than 200. So I could have easily gotten about $100 out of it. It was a good graphics card for what it's worth. It's good to game on. It really is. It can run Planet Coaster. It can run Planet Coaster really well as long as you're not playing super high settings in a park that has 100,000 pieces. You know, it could do Planet Coaster really good. Any game, really. Because I think it had like 8 gigabytes of VRAM on the card. But like a dummy, I sent it to a computer recycling place. And I told them all the hardware was good. Like, hey, resell it if you want, keep it, whatever. but it was just a hunk of junk sitting in my closet taking up space. So I kind of regret taking the computer because I could have just kept the computer and reutilized it as like a media station or something. Or hell, I could have used it as like a server. Perfectly fine to run a server. So, because I think I eventually want to try and run a Minecraft server. I could have just kept the motherboard. But I digress. Hindsight's 2020. Let's move on. So I'm still not sure if I want to, because I would love to get a 30 series graphics card. Planet Coaster would definitely run a lot better, as well as Premiere Pro would run a lot better. I want to upgrade my CPU as well, but if I upgrade, I'm going to have to get a new platform. AM5, I think is what they're calling it. So I'm probably just going to hold off, keep running my current CPU. My CPU is I think it's a 3900X. I'm pretty sure it's a 3900X. Yeah, it's a 3900X, which was the highest at the time when I bought it, because the 3950 XT was not released yet, and I didn't need that. I don't need an extra whatever it was offering, but because I could just overclock it a little bit, which I have, to get that speed for no money. I was not kidding when I said we're just going to be watching basically the same thing over and over and over again in today's episode. It's literally just me adjusting all these horizontal planks and vertical planks. It's a lot of crap, but hey, somebody's got to do it, and I don't mind doing it. It's honestly kind of relaxing to have the game open, maybe listen to some music or a podcast or something. I've been listening to Distractable. It's a podcast by Markiplier, Bob and Wade. A really good podcast. If you have not listened to it, I highly recommend it. Listen to it on whatever app you listen to your podcasts on. New episode coming out Monday. I'm always excited for a new episode. Actually, when I drove to Virginia back in September, it's like a 12-hour drive. Although I got from Orlando to Charlotte in like 7.5 hours because I was going like 100 miles an hour the entire time, and I eventually got caught. That was a ticket I hated paying. Okay, so here's what happened. I was supposed to leave Orlando at like, I think 11 o'clock at night, because I had worked that day. They let me get off work a little early so I could go home and do my laundry, finish packing, and get, like 2 hours of sleep, 3 hours of sleep or so before my long drive to Virginia. Keep in mind, I wasn't going straight to Virginia. I was stopping in Charlotte, North Carolina, because I was going to go to Carowinds for a day and then finish driving. But anyway, I get home, I do what I need to do, and I fall asleep, right? And my dumb self forgot to set an alarm. So I woke up, and it's like 12 o'clock at night. 12:30, almost 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, oh shoot, I need to hurry up and get out of here. So I got in my car, left, and I was finally passing by the eyesore on I-4. If you don't know that building, look it up. It's literally an eyesore on I-4. Anyway, past that building by like 2 in the morning. So for a while I was listening to the radio, and then I remembered like, oh hey, Markiplier and them have a podcast called Distractable. So I looked it up on, I think it's Apple Podcasts is what I was using on my iPhone. And I basically just listened to that. I started from the first episode, and I listened to that all the way to Charlotte. Now, let's cue to when I get my speeding ticket. So I'm like 25, 30 minutes south of Charlotte. So I'm like in between, what's the name of that city? I got a friend that lives there in South Carolina. What is that city? Well, anyway, there's a city that I was out of, but I was like 30 minutes from Charlotte. It's like 7:25 in the morning, so, there's some traffic on the road now. I've been driving through the night, sun's rising, and I'm really tired at this point. I've had like 8, 9, 10 cups of coffee to try and stay awake on this long drive. I went to Bojangles and ate some food, not sponsored. God, I missed seeing a Bojangles, not gonna lie. The first Bojangles I saw, I went and got some biscuits because holy crap, I love their biscuits. Say what you want, they got some good biscuits. But I also didn't get to eat really much of anything on the way because every 24-hour McDonald's I stopped by, thanks to the human malware going around and that causing shortages, every 24-hour McDonald's was closed that I passed by. So, great. All I could really get was like gas station snacks. No food because this late at night, none of their kitchens are open. So anyway, I get that. I work in culinary. I get that. And for those of you who work in a restaurant, I know your pain. Trust me. We could talk for hours about that. But anyway, so I was driving and I didn't realize how fast I was going until I saw some dirt flying across the median between the highway. Here he come to pull me over. And sure enough, I saw him. I realized I was going 101 in a 70. So I slowed down, pulled over. He's like, where are you going in a hurry? Where are you trying to get to? And I said, honestly, I'm trying to get to Charlotte so I can take a nap. And I didn't realize how fast, I was honest with the guy. I didn't realize how fast I was going. And, I was honest with him. So he still gave me a ticket. Technically, with it being 30 miles per hour over the speed limit, I would have had to appear in court. But since I'm from out of state, he put it on there to where I could just pay it online. So I waited about 2 weeks, then so that way it could get updated in the system, and then I paid the ticket. It was like a $350 ticket. But hey, at least it was in South Carolina. If it was in like Georgia, they got a super speeder ticket. So for those of you that live in Georgia, I'm sorry, that's a $500 minimum that you have to pay for speeding. I've learned my lesson. But hey, I got to Charlotte in like 7 hours. So there's that. Anyway, as soon as I got there, I parked at the campground because if y'all remember from an old series I have on my channel, I used to live and work at Carowinds. I lived in the campground. So I knew I could just park my car over in the campground parking lot and nobody would say anything. So I just sat there and took a nap. I need to get some like shades for my car because my car is designed to sleep in. I've got like a little 2020 Honda Fit. I can lay all the seats flat. If I had a little air mattress, I could put an air mattress in there. It'd be great. That's the whole reason why I got that car. So if I do road trips, instead of getting a hotel, I can just sleep in the car. So I need to try to find some shades that I can put on the windows and have some privacy when I'm sleeping. But I slept for, I think I took like an hour-long nap. I ended up not being able to sleep because I was too freaking excited because there's my favorite roller coaster on the planet, Fury 325, just right there staring at me. I couldn't really sleep, so I just went to, I think I went to Cracker Barrel across the road. And had some breakfast, and I actually ran into some friends of mine who were there. They were going to be there for that weekend because we were having one of our annual ACE events at the park, our Carolina Coaster Classic. And anyway, I spent the whole day at the park. I think the park closed at like 7-ish. I don't remember. I spent most of my day on Fury and also just walking around. Rode Copperhead Strike again. Love that coaster. It's a great addition to that park. It's a great family coaster. It's a great intermediate ride. The shorter kids can ride. It's fantastic. Especially at the end of the night. If you're like riding it, it's been running all day. It runs even faster. I love it. But my bae is Fury. Always will be. And, with recent news leaks, Knott's Berry Farm Giga Coaster, I'm sure that will be even better than Fury. And I'm actually hoping it will be. And like, I could ride it. I could go to California if this thing actually becomes a reality. And I can ride that coaster. And I could actually like it more than Fury. But Fury will always have like a personal it'll be like a personal favorite to me. Always. I'm sure I'll ride coasters that are better than Fury. And I know I will. But Fury will always have like a special place in my heart. So that's why it's going to be my favorite. I won't think it's the best coaster, but it will always be my personal favorite, if that makes any sense. I'm sure a lot of you have coasters that are like that, where, yeah, it's not the best coaster in the world, there's better coasters, but it's your personal favorite for sentimental reasons. For my reason, it's kind of what got me into this industry. But that story aside, you spent the day at the park, then I drove the other 2.5-ish hours to Virginia. Once you get through Charlotte and is it High Point, North Carolina? Halfway in North Carolina is when I end up getting off the highway and I'm just on back roads the entire way home to where I live. I'm from the middle of nowhere, Virginia. If you know your furniture, I grew up in Bassett, Virginia, home of Bassett Furniture, but I digress. Stayed at home for like a week. I took my mom to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. It was my first time there. She had been there before, long time ago, like 5 or 6 years ago. But it was my first time there. I loved the park, loved the rides, loved the coasters. I'm kind of sad that Pantheon wasn't open, but I'll probably go up there at some point this year and ride it. I know I'm going to go up there maybe March or April. I'm going to try and go after spring break. Took her to Busch Williamsburg. It was also the opening night for the Hallow Scream event, so I went to that. I kind of didn't like it. I feel bad when I talk about it because I was also a scare actor for a while with Carowinds, and the actors did great, but the problem with Busch Gardens this year at Williamsburg was they had way too many scare actors. And the scenes in the houses weren't dark. I feel like they should have put more actors outside than inside, because in the houses there were too many actors. A lot of the scenes they felt really too bright. There wasn't enough variation in lighting. It didn't really feel cohesive enough to me. But there were definitely too many actors, and they were definitely overusing lines like "don't go in there" or "help me" or "he's gonna get me," things like that, things that you shouldn't say as a scare actor. And I had a great team at Carowinds, a great scare acting team, great leaders. I still had a good time at Busch Gardens. We ended up leaving at like 11 o'clock at night or something, because from where I live, Busch Gardens was still a 5-hour drive, and I'm the one that did all the driving. So I drove back. I think we got back at like 3 in the morning. And at this point, this was like sort of the end of my stay in Virginia. I was going to stay at my mom's place for a couple more hours and sleep, but I went ahead and decided, okay, I'm just going to leave now to drive back to Charlotte. So I drove back to Charlotte, got there a couple hours later, took a nap, and then we had our event the next day at Carowinds. And then I think I stayed one more day at Carowinds. Was it a Friday? I think I left. I think I got there Friday morning. I don't remember. I wish I'd have did a vlog on this trip. Oh wow, I didn't actually think I would chat this long. Okay, so I guess we're not going to cut a lot of this video out. If you're still here, thanks. We've had a story time. I'm sure I can find a lot of other things to talk about and other trips that I've gone on and trips that I want to go on. There's definitely a lot of videos on my old hard drive from even back in high school that I want to eventually get uploaded, but it's nothing good. Don't expect anything good from it. It's just a lot of cringy content. Which, if you go back in time on my channel, you'll find a bunch of videos from high school. They're all on here, because my friends and I did a little video series my senior year of high school. It's super cringy, for me at least. I don't know. It's just a trip down memory lane. We're approaching the end of this video recording that I did. I've got another video recording that's like another 5 hours of time lapse, I think, doing the rest of this layout. Again, of just doing the vertical ledgers, angling them, making the vertical columns. But I'm going to do that part in the next episode, because this video is already long enough, and I'm sure you're tired of listening to me ramble on about random things and But I kind of got carried away with my little Carowinds trip and talking about that. So that wasn't my intention to talk about that, but it just kind of happened. I don't know. I had fun on that trip. It was my first trip ever going by myself anywhere. Because I finally have a car. I can finally go places and do things. And, you know, I feel like an adult. Finally, right? But being an adult sucks. It's stupid. I hate it. I'm definitely planning to do some more theme park trips. I was going to go to California this year, or try to. I think I might hold off, actually, because, you know, if Knott's is building a Giga Coaster, I want to wait till that opens. So I may just hold off California and go next year. But we'll see what happens, you know. If they're going to open it in 2024, then I may go ahead and go to California at the end of this year. So I don't know. We'll see. I've got a few trips planned that I want to do. And yeah, so anyway, finally, end of the video. Sorry for holding you so long. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you liked it. If you didn't like it, you know what to do. Both of those thumbs are down below. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. There's a lot of people that are watching that aren't subscribed. And yeah, I see who you are. It shows it on my video analytics. I'm not going to post it because I'm not that kind of YouTuber. But anyway, subscribe if you haven't already to keep up with my videos. And I will see you in the next episode. Happy trails, everybody. Make each day count. And I will see you in the next one. Hey! Hey-o!
Whoop.